let's jump into it and jump into a conversation. I don't know why I did this weird thing with my hands. It was I didn't know what to do with them. I was like, okay. So,
falling back.
All right.
Are you recording this?
Am I recording?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm streaming.
Or you're streaming it? Where's the stream link? Hold on.
Man,
we are currently streaming on twitch.tv/MikieCool. Yeah, check your notifications because I just tagged you.
that's what we were talking.
Literally, I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna make sure that like I promote us and do all the stuff before we like officially go, you know. So
sorry,
that was me.
I'm losing my
posting all over and tagging us all over because I wanted us to be able to have everything go. So we are live. We have actually been live for 5 minutes. It was just counting down saying stream starting while I was tweeting us out and stuff like that. So, cool. You know, the conversations where you guys were saying that like, oh, I wish I had better quality friends or whatever, that was in there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
All I want.
But now that we're here and I've turned the cameras on, they're on now. So, you know, look alive. Woo! Darnel's in a tiny little corner there. I see him. I can actually see him this time. It's better because he wasn't like a nerd in the dark as he was last time. We unlocked him this time. Yo, we hit them achievements, man. We did it all off screen. We unlocked some characters. We're good to go. All right, so without further ado, we're here in a new NerdTable discussion with Nerds in the Dark. And you guys may already know our names. We're going to do it again. I'm Mikie.
I'm Malika.
Sarah.
All right. And you can find any of us the notifications right below our faces. So you can see like where we are. And today we're going to have a special discussion about cancel culture and society's unwillingness, I should say it is, to let things go. But Sarah, you were really passionate about talking about this, so I'm going to let you take the lead and start us off into what we're going to be talking about today officially.
Why don't you ever prepare me to talk? You just kind of throw me into it.
I softball you so well, though.
All right. So I was very passionate about this topic because I just happened to be over at a friend's house and we were just scrolling through some stupid Facebook post about how the next person was canceled and then this next celebrity is canceled. And it just kind of sparked a whole conversation regarding cancel culture and not allowing for any sort of accountability. So essentially what we talked about was, let's say someone says something when they're 16 years old. Hopefully you're not the same person you are at 30 than you are at 16. You would hope that someone would grow and mature. And when people are bringing things up from the past, such as like an old Twitter, whatever, there's no room for holding someone accountable and realizing that someone has actually grown. It's immediately cancel, no time to talk about it. And I just think it's toxic, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
Okay.
Mikey.
So I know that we have a lot of varying thoughts in here, but let's start off with like an easy question for a lot of us to kind of at least gauge where we stand on the topic. So I think the first question that we should answer for ourselves before we dive really deep is, to you, what is the point of cancel culture? Any of you guys can start off.
Accountability.
Yeah, I would agree.
Accountability, though. I feel like with cancel culture, it's just an excuse for people to say, okay, we're done with this person, don't support this person, but that's it. Just dropping everything.
So you're saying to you, cancel culture is about deplatforming.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that there's a mixed bag. I think that cancel culture can be about accountability, and I think there's also a focus on deplatforming, which I think in and of itself is a form of accountability.
I agree.
So, with that being said, for those of you that do believe that it's about accountability, right? Let's refer to this quote that I posted in the chat. If cancel culture is about accountability, then why is there a focus on deplatforming and removing people from the conversation?
Exactly. Like, I feel like with cancel culture, we don't give them the time to see that they've done wrong. I feel like with cancel culture, it's immediate. It's like, okay, this person, they're done. That's it. Boom. Out of here.
Okay.
But yet, it's not necessarily giving them the time to be like, okay, this is how I fucked up. Let me fix that. Let me rectify this, or at least attempt to. Because no one after that gives them the time of day.
Do you think that regardless of the wrong that they've committed, that there should be an opportunity to correct themselves?
I think that they should be able to learn. Like, if we don't tell them what they did wrong, they keep doing it. So if we remove them from it, they don't see our points. They're just like, okay, well, these people canceled me, whatever, I don't care about what they say. But if we keep them in the conversation, if we keep them in the topics, they're more likely to see and hear what other people have to say.
I think that's fair to say for someone that says something immediately. Like it was something that happened present day. But I think canceling someone for something that was said or tweeted 10 years ago and then not even allowing them to prove that they've grown and learned and hold themselves accountable is toxic.
Right.
Do you think that there's anything that's too big to come back from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like, there's been things that show that like that's not true. So.
Well, because that's one of the main. So I have a lot of my own thoughts on this, but I kind of want to gauge you guys. This is why I'm asking so many questions like this. So, if you guys believe that, you know, we need to give people the chance, and we shouldn't cancel them for things, you know, over 10 years, like what's, you know, you have to figure out a line first, you know, because how far is too far? And, you know, is there like a statute of limitations on, like, you know, something that people can come back from? Like if was them being racist today too far? Is them being racist 10 years ago too far? Like, did they murder somebody and whatever? Like, what's the line and what's the statute of limitations? And even at that, like, we have people that, you know, are we just cherry picking who gets to come back and who doesn't? Because we have people who are in the limelight now who we've canceled people for less, and they're still out there. Like, so we know that, you know, as far as popularity goes, there isn't really a line that's too far if you can still, like, garner the favor of the people. So, like, you know, where does this stand for you guys? Like how far is too far? What's the line?
I'll answer because you stop asking.
I definitely feel like there is cherry picking, especially with cancel culture, because it'll be like, say it's characters from a TV show that are like, okay, well, these actors are canceled. It's obviously going to be the first people to cancel them are going to be people who don't like the actors, who don't like the characters. So they're going to be the first people to immediately be like, oh yeah, they're canceled. That's it. I didn't like them anyway. Whereas you'll have the fans who are just like, no, like, let's not cancel them. Let's figure out what's going on. So there's always going to be that level of disconnect. There's always going to be a he said, she said, or like, this is my fave, this is not my fave. So there's gonna be that clash, especially in cancel culture.
For me, it's it depends on what they did and like when they did it. It's like it was like 10 years ago and they're like still in high school. It's kind of whatever, but also there's like certain things like you kind of know you shouldn't have said it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you should already know you shouldn't have said it. Like I don't really care what happens to you now. It's like, well, you should already know you shouldn't have said it.
Mhm.
Like there is no like, well, I'm sorry. Like no, you knew you shouldn't have said it in the first place.
And what example are you talking about for that? Because I feel like it's not exactly as black and white as
Like that makeup dude who like called a bunch of people like monkeys and like called a bunch of black people like monkeys and said the N-word. And it was like, well, he's still famous, whatever, and still gets popularity, but like he didn't get like he was canceled for like 2 months and then he's back to being whatever the fuck he does. So
yeah, and I mean,
feel like
I think that proves that, I mean, cancel culture, number one, didn't work, and he never learned from it, and he was never fully held accountable.
well, cancel culture is really real. I just don't think it's real. Like people like think it has more weight than it really does. Like it doesn't have as much weight as people are giving it. It's kind of just like a 5-minute thing and then it's over, but like it has no weight. It's like it's not like it didn't work. It just didn't have any weight to begin with because there's nothing that actually really hurt them because people don't care. They're gonna stand by who people are gonna love their celebrity regardless. So I don't really know who celebrities are, but like people are gonna love their celebrity, so the celebrities can never do anything wrong.
I mean, I think that's fair because celebrities and whatever the fuck you want to call them, influencers, they have a large enough platform where if they're canceled, they have enough people that are ride or die going to support them for it to even work. I would say cancel culture on some random teenage boy who had something pulled out of his tweets from 5 years ago is a hell of a lot more damaging than it would be for a celebrity.
Right.
True. Like,
I would... Go ahead.
So, like, there's like some dude famous on like Twitter, like playing with like or talking like to animals and like feeding deer all the time, and apparently he did a whole bunch of messed up stuff back in the day, and like he got canceled, but like he actually also showed like real sincerity when like people called him out on it. And he's like one of the few people I've seen like when they got canceled, they actually showed legitimate sincerity, and like now I see him posting stuff, but most of the people I see who are canceled kind of gave like not a real apology and then just disappeared.
I think one of the things that about cancel culture is that it can have real world consequences, but those consequences are often very short lived. I think that we have as a society a very short attention span, and while things can be on you very harshly for a short time, it's still only a very short time. And there are people who quote unquote have their lives ruined, but they're out of the limelight in a month or two. And as soon as they're out of the limelight, they can just continue living their lives. And I think that the consequences aren't as far reaching as we really think they are. You know, most of the big like celebrities, YouTubers, whoever who get canceled, they bounce right back. Most of them. There's some that haven't really bounced back. There's some that have, you know, bounced back but have not really been exactly where they were, but they're doing okay. You know, I think it really differs. But I don't think that any of the damage that I've seen so far is permanent.
For celebrities, I would argue no, but for a regular person who doesn't have the money to like quote unquote make it all go away, or have the platform to speak their mind, that shit's going to follow them to future employers. It's going to be written down and recorded, and it's going to follow them the rest of their lives.
I think potentially it could, but I think that a lot of people, like, that stuff doesn't affect them as heavily a few years down the line. I mean, even a few months down the line. There's people that were canceled, months ago, and people just forgot about, or people that, quote unquote, lost their future, but are suddenly doing like other shit. Think of somebody on the liberal side who was recently canceled for doing some shit against conservatives. Posted a TikTok about wanting to stab people to say all lives matter. Did it as a joke, posted it up, blew up for a completely separate reason. People found that original TikTok, canceled her, and then she had her job, her future job rescinded. Was all over a bunch of places, but has now utilized that into becoming a TikToker and becoming a personality, and now is doing things for themselves. They don't, so their future changed, but they are now just doing other shit. And that was only a few months ago. So
yeah, but again, that person still had a larger platform. I mean, so it didn't truly.
That person gained a platform because they were canceled. They didn't have the platform before. They posted, blew up, and within 24 hours, all of that shit happened.
Yeah, like the Trump supporter dude who faced off with the Native Americans. Now he's at the Republican convention thing now, and everybody was saying he should be canceled and kicked out of school and stuff. And all his thing was just trying to intimidate indigenous people, and now he's at Republican conventions. So
yeah, that dude's future is more secure than ever right now.
I feel like that's
just a kid
entirely.
I'm sure that there's people
topic,
that can, there's people that it can affect for longer periods of time, but I think that it definitely depends on how you handle it. I think that anything that goes viral, you can have that stuff disappear immediately, or you can have it blow up further, or you can find a way to redirect it into something successful. I think it really depends on what you are capable of doing with it.
I think it's in the same vein as that old video with a kid doing this playing with the lightsabers, and he blew up and got famous, and everybody made fun of him, but he didn't post it. But it's now he was internet famous, and he's well, it was just me goofing off in my room, and somebody posted him on it. He didn't have anything to do with it. It still went out. Some things are just out of your control, and it's just gonna go whichever way it goes.
But I will say probably the easiest way to make sure you don't get canceled, if you're worried about canceling yourself and having your future ruined, is don't do things online. Probably the easiest thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like cancel culture is such a fickle thing because people are willing to cancel you for anything. You show support for the LGBT community, but there's people who are very conservative who don't like that, and they're willing to cancel you for it. Or you say a remark about you're a person of color, you make a remark about white people, and they take that the wrong way. I just feel like it's so easy to get canceled.
Yeah.
That no matter what you say or do, someone's gonna see it the wrong way. Someone's gonna take it however they want to take it, and then they're just bam, willing to cancel you for it.
Yeah,
right. I agree.
Anything you post online, it's kind of on you, because we all agree Black Lives Matter isn't a super bad thing, but a bunch of people apparently try to cancel Dolly Parton because she said Black Lives Matter, and it's whatever she's the queen of, she does her thing, and it's like I don't like that's kind of a weird person to fucking target and try to cancel. And so it's like people will like insignificant people will try to cancel some major star, and it's all like you kind of have to like be aware that whatever you post online may come back, and so it's partially is on you. Granted, I understand like that your original example as a kid. And that's probably kind of like why parents should be more mindful and teach their kids, hey, you like what you put on the internet lasts forever. So that's why I didn't have the internet when I was little. So
yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into the thing of like where we're kind of like victim blaming in a sense, you know, but I think there should be some sort of like, you know, disclaimer with like, hey, you know, you post shit online, somebody could take it out of context. It's different if like if you record it, you know, in the privacy of your own fucking home, you know what I mean, and someone posts that online. Okay, well, hey, you didn't do that, you know, you didn't post that yourself, but like the actions that you take like have consequences. Like, you know, I think that kind of. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with you. I mean, everyone has the freedom of speech, but freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. I will say though, I think cancel culture has just devolved into canceling others because of differences in opinions. And when I say differences in opinions, I mean like if I go out and say, oh, I love the color blue, it is the best color ever, blah, blah, blah. And then someone comes and cancels me because they hate blue. That is not what cancel culture is supposed to be about. Cancel culture should be resolved or just specifically reserved for things that are not supposed to be opinions. Racism, rape, murder, violence, things like that. That is worth canceling a person over and needing accountability. Right. Not liking a certain brand or supporting Black Lives Matter, because that is a factor of human rights. That's not an opinion. Everyone should have the same rights as other people.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that there's a little bit of a false equivalency there. And
I would agree when I said that.
Like because I know that there's like it's weird to say, but like a lot of things right now are politicized in certain ways by certain sides, and they use that to attempt to cancel people. And you know,
agreed.
I think that certain people try to politicize things that shouldn't be politicized. Like, you're right, like Black Lives Matter shouldn't be a political thing, but it currently is a political thing because that's what people are doing. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Fire News Exit and Books Dashboard. Thank you for those follows. So I think that you know, even though we think those things shouldn't be they shouldn't be politicized, they currently are, which means that, you know, unfortunately people are going to try to cancel you for things, and it's kind of out of your control. But
yeah. Write that down as the next topic. Things that are politicized that shouldn't be.
But I will agree that like people are assholes on the internet and like try to like care about things too often, because like I guess that was your original point was with the thing was with the kid was like maybe like people who shouldn't be like get passes and just chalked up to being a dumb kid. Mm-hmm. And it's like we like try to like treat kids like they're adults, and granted they're intelligent people, but they're also dumbass kids.
Well, yeah, when you're a kid, it's psychologically speaking, your frontal cortex hasn't developed all of the way. They're going to say dumbass things because they're a kid and have no filter yet. And the fact that we're putting them on trial like adults, And we all know, like, yeah, they're still dumbasses. Isn't fair.
Okay.
And we lost
For some things.
So
For some things.
one thing I'm gonna say is, first of all, Malika, why are you disconnecting?
Somebody canceled her internet.
Her
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah, we gotta cancel Comcast right now. Jeez. And then she's over here with her frozen face.
AT&T coming in and canceling.
Uh,
She looks so smug.
Jeremy says, I watched Bill Maher and he brought up a good point. Politicians aren't the enemy anymore. It's family members, neighbors, coworkers, and someone at the grocery store. It's really sad. I don't really think that's necessarily like the way. I don't think we should view people as like enemies. You know, I don't think it's like politicians. You know, because I don't sit there and argue with my family all the time and like turn my family into enemies just because they agree with different things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't view my family as the enemy. I argue with my family about a lot of things, but I don't view them as the enemy.
Someone I kind of do. Like, no, fuck you. I'm out.
For certain things.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because there are things that are inexcusable that I've heard.
I mean, we can argue with them, and like, look, I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm not gonna throw hands if I hear the N-word, because like I probably would, but that's different. You know what I mean? It's not like that's not about like the politicizing. Like if I'm more than willing to have a conversation if I hear someone in my family say like all lives matter. Like I'm gonna have a conversation about like, yo, this is what this means, and this is what this means when you say something like that, you know, and explain what it is, you know, versus, you know, being like, hey, Lo, me and you are 100% done right now.
But that's, you know, if you're capable of being able to have a discussion with people. Sometimes it just turns into, you know what, you don't agree with me, I don't agree with you, we're now enemies. And I feel like it's gotten to that point where I would agree with the chat, where there is no healthy discussion. It's, you don't agree with me, therefore you are wrong, and that's the end of it.
I think for some people they do take that route. I mean, I don't think that's a route that I don't think that's a route that we're taking as society. But you hear that, Jeremy? Someone agrees with you. Jeremy wrote, Bill said the political climate has turned into that. Just some good points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely that. Like pretty much everything. If it can't fit in a meme, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's true for a lot of things. Like, I think that memes have actually really helped.
Yeah, but also like the intelligence on the subject, people just like go with the meme and like never get a real in-depth understanding of it.
That's true.
They're like, yeah, I saw one meme or read one article.
Oh my god.
And suddenly I'm an expert.
Yeah. I really hate that too. But that's,
I mean, the internet never lies, guys.
do you think people would
The
just do
internet always
that?
tells
Just
the
go on
truth.
the internet and tell lies?
Yeah. Who would
course
do
not.
something like that? Also, have you met
Never.
this Mikie?
Wow.
Yeah, he never lies in the group chat. Ever.
No.
Not never. Listen,
Nice person.
I speak the truth 100% of the time. It just 90% of that time is shade.
Okay.
Look at Jeremy's chat.
Says,
I can also relate to that.
my friend wrote a status yesterday. Her mom, dad, and brother told her she was going to hell because she voted for Biden. I'm not making this up. This is what the climate has come to.
Yes, that's kind of extreme.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing. But you know what? I at some point you look at those things and like someone going to hell because of the way they're voting. Like, that's just absurd. Like look.
Well, have you have you experienced that?
Listen. I love my grandmother to death. God rest her soul. But I think it was 10, 15 years ago, there was a huge hurricane off the coast of Florida, and she blamed Bush. She was like, George Bush caused the hurricane. Fuck him. And I was like, what? Like, that's not even possible. People can't make hurricanes. It's just so absurd that you just have to be like, listen, Grandma, I love you, but you're crazy. You're crazy, and I'm sorry. You just gotta that's it. You're done.
You can't argue with that kind of crazy. Let's be honest here.
Right. So if somebody tells me that I'm going to hell based on who I'm voting for, it's like, well, first of all, prove it's real. Okay. Second of all, am I going to your specific hell? Am I going to like and someone else's definition of hell? Like, because I'm pretty sure if in the books you read, they don't say anything about they don't say anything about like how I vote.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? It's just like at some point it's just so ridiculous. You got to be like, okay, you know what? I'm done.
Yes, I mean, okay. 2 points. Number one, I completely agree with you. Wait until they find out that Jesus wasn't a white Republican. It's going to blow their minds.
Right.
Number two.
The shade. They're not ready for that conversation.
Number two. You can't argue with crazy, but there are people that are still just going to come at you with that flawed logic and the cognitive dissonance, and you just cannot get away from it. And that's what this environment has turned. It's a cesspool. It's a cesspool of people holding on to their own opinions, not allowing growth or change, and it's just the same damn argument over and over and over.
Yeah. Jeremy says Runetown is awesome. She brings up some good points. Wonder Woman.
Aww, thank you.
The quote of the week saying that Runetown has a quote of the week. Wait till people find out Jesus is not a white Republican. It's going to blow their minds. Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and clip that? But it's just one of those things where I think that, you know, as we go through and we start looking at like what people are trying to cancel people for, we really got to like examine, you know, what's worth it and what's not. I think there's a lot of things that we let go. I mean, so we're talking right now, we talk a lot about, or have talked a lot about, people being canceled for things that they did forever ago, and we maybe give them a chance to grow. But we have so many people that are out there now that haven't been canceled that do the most, right. You know, or did do the most, you know.
Became president.
Yeah. A big one. Yeah. I mean, we talk about like, look, I don't want to. Me, every stream is literally every stream. I'm like, yo, I don't want to get political, and then 5 minutes. The thing about.
Well, we can trash Biden too.
Oh my god, no, yeah, I'll trash everybody. All right, but so the thing about, you know, our current president right now is he. A lot of things that we've canceled people for, he has done worse on tape. And so it's just so bad that we have people that, you know, are just willing to let that go for no reason other than, you know, hey, that's the person that they follow. And
that's on cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. So I saw this TikTok months ago, and it was really, hey, thank you for for clipping that.
God help my soul if my parents ever see that.
So I saw this TikTok months ago where somebody said one of the scariest things is that, you know, all this stuff going on, all this, you know, the COVID getting bad and everybody feeling like 2020 is like the end, and you know, Trump feeling that he's not going to win. So what, you know, I don't know what the number would be, but if Trump just came out and started tweeting like, guys, this is it, we're done, we're not gonna make it, let's just all go out together, and for lack of a better term, drank some Kool-Aid, how many of his followers would do that? And the number's not zero, and that's scary. And there's a word for that. And I think that's very interesting that we have a lot of people that just have that cognitive dissonance with the truth, who will just follow this man no matter what he says. And it's very interesting that is where we're at right now, like politically. And of course I'll sit here and I'll bash Biden too. I don't give a fuck. I'll bash anybody. Because the amount of politicians on every side that we have that is trash is a non-zero number. So I will talk trash about all of them.
I agree with you, but again, with the political climate, it's who is going to be the person who is going to respond to holding themselves accountable and will allow for the changing of opinions.
I think one of the things that I heard that was particularly effective for me, there's a couple things that I heard that was particularly effective for me in making sure that I didn't abstain from this election. Jeremy says, I like Geeky Mika's sweatshirt. Where did you get that? Holy cow.
Oh, thank you. It's a Legacies merch sweater, so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, she did.
I did it.
All right,
I
so.
did a very bad thing.
Wait, was she talking? Because I can't hear her anymore.
Oh, she said I did a bad thing, and she was talking. She said it was a Legacies merch sweatshirt. Look at that. You lost Malika's audio again. This is.
I've done fucked up again.
It's not on
Yeah.
my end.
This is the problem with sound check.
Darnel, can you hear
We
me?
need 45 minutes
Oh
to
my
make
god.
sure number 1 sound check works and 2 tech works.
Oh my god.
Give up. I hate this.
Not like. Let's just agree that Sarah doesn't like me.
So, all right. So going back a little bit, well, Jeremy first says, "You're welcome all." Mike, you should also know that 185,000 Americans are dead, and people are still trying to cancel people. Yes, but those things are mutually exclusive. I think that we can have discussions about how we feel. Like I don't think that living through a pandemic should invalidate our humanity. I think that we have the ability to hold people accountable for things that aren't related to the pandemic. And I think we should be able to have those conversations regardless of whatever else is going on. If it's a question of people that are like, like if we're saying, hey, listen, we got to lock down Florida because Florida is dealing with the pandemic really crazy, and someone else says, yeah, but have you seen those Trump supporters? Like, yeah, that's a completely different conversation. You know what I mean? Those are different things. But right now, if we're having a conversation about, whether or not we hold people accountable for their conversations online, and then we start talking about like the pandemic, it's a little different. But going back a little bit on the like topic of like looking at like Biden and what's kind of secured me from abstaining, there was a bit of audio that I heard where somebody was talking about that, there's talk about how we look at like what the police do to us, and Biden had a speech where he was talking about like, right now they're shooting people in the heart, and he suggested that people shoot them in the leg. And it's like, that's terrible. That's an awful thing. But
Leg 2020, is that what you're talking about right now?
Yes, Leg 2020.
All right.
And so that kind of was a thing, is this like, so right now the option is shoot us in the heart or shoot us in the leg. And if I have to choose between those two, even though those are terrible options, leg 2020.
I still can die from getting shot in the leg, though. Femoral artery.
Absolutely. Okay. But which one is more likely?
They're both likely, as long as I'm within 20 minutes of a class 3 hospital.
They are both. You can likely die from either one, but one is like 30% and the other one's like 100%. Or I mean, not 100, but like 99 point something.
Yeah.
So, Runetown is awesome. The whole crew is awesome. Give this guy an Emmy.
Trauma center. You'll live.
So here's the thing. I definitely agree that a lot of the things that Biden was saying has not been cool. But I definitely I think there's a lot at stake in the next 4 years that I don't think Trump would be good for another 4. You know what I mean? I think that we'd be in a way worse position. I don't think that like any of the arguments people are using that like, oh, we'll be able to bully Biden or make him listen. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
No, I agree. What I was speaking about was more so on a empathy level. Who is more capable of being empathetic? Because it sure as hell isn't one of them. And I think what the world needs right now is a little bit more empathy.
Yes.
To repair what is already so damaged.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely an opportunity. There's a better opportunity for, under Biden. In my opinion, there's a better opportunity under Biden than there is under Trump. It's not a lot better, but it's better. It's one of the things that I that old joke from South Park. Do you want a douchebag or a shit sandwich? And it's both are terrible options for us, because like none of us here voted in the primaries for Biden, and that says a lot. None of us wanted him, but we're choosing between those two right now. And it's an awful choice, but one of them's clearly better than the other. So
I mean, I feel sorry, I was gonna go off on another political tangent, but let's rein it in here.
Rein it back into cancel culture. Speaking of cancel culture, let's cancel everybody. Can we do that? Can we cancel the entire internet? Because I wanted to cancel my life this morning. Like, so we got to cancel. Okay. Can we cancel the entire internet?
Well, you fucked up this morning.
Jeremy says he's canceled, so he says bye.
I miss you. Come back soon.
He can't come back. He's canceled.
Obviously, you can come back. We've already discovered this.
Exactly.
So, I think that we can't cancel people forever. We can try, but it doesn't work. Jeremy says he'll just make a YouTube video and fake apology that will make him relevant.
Beautiful. That's how it works nowadays. Cry for like 30 seconds and then you're golden.
It really is. I've worked on I pre-recorded my apology video like 6 years ago when I started the YouTube channel. It's already set. I don't know what I'm apologizing for yet, but the tears are real.
Doesn't matter. Not gonna actually release a video anyway.
The shade.
I'll live stream it on Twitch though. Meanwhile, Pokimane got canceled for stealing money from tier 3 subs. I mean, did Pokimane do that? I don't follow Pokimane or anything that's going on with them, so I have no idea what they did, Jeremy. But I know that there were some people on Twitch that caught some heat in the past couple months. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's so. I guess that's another point. Is what gets you like what can possibly get you permanently canceled? What would be the things that would get you a permanent cancellation?
Rape, continued racism.
Brock Turner, and pretty much a shit ton of celebrities.
I mean, so Brock Turner is kind of like a forever cancel, I think. But
he's not though. That's a whole topic that's just gonna get my blood boiling.
Is he not a forever cancel? Are people
well, like
letting go?
There's still a big fan base of people who like support him and like yeah, he did nothing wrong, and like the fact he only did like a 2-month sentence. We've been in quarantine longer than he was his sentence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree with those points, but are there? Do you think
like the thing is like this? Like we can think he's canceled all we want. There's still gonna be a large amount of people who don't think he's canceled. So that's the thing. Is like
interesting.
There's never gonna be like everybody's gonna agree this specific person is fucking canceled because, like y'all said, we all like need to be right and fucking support our fucking heroes, even though they're pieces of shit.
I've not heard anything about what you're saying, Jeremy. He said hundreds of bands are being canceled. I haven't heard anything about that.
Oh god, I think it's Borns, the one that does Electric Love. He, like the song that's all over TikTok right now, he has several rape allegations against him, and yet his music is still well known, it's still being promoted. It's like, well, the music is catchy, so
yeah. Well, you know, Tekashi 6ix9ine has not been canceled. We have
a pedo and a snitch.
Yep. Then there's who is it? I think R. Kelly's been riding that fence for a long time. I think recently after that documentary came out, he was on a big downturn, but I don't think he ever really got. I think there's still R. Kelly stans.
Yeah, they paid his bill.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I guess I kind of want to pivot the conversation because yeah, we can talk about cancel culture and its toxicity, but also like how yeah, we try to cancel people, but it doesn't truly work because there's going to be stans forever. What is the alternative to holding people accountable and making sure that this shit doesn't keep happening? I mean, there may not even be an answer for it.
Yeah, because like the only thing you can do is really show like you're genuinely sorry for things. Like, I do think you should give like some people the ability to say like they're genuinely sorry, but like words don't mean anything. Only actions matter. So either A, they open their pocketbook, or B, they like help the community that they harmed. But like it can't be like a one-time thing either though. Like you can't just like have a photo up of you feeding the homeless after you have they were meeting with a homeless person. Like you have to actually regularly like see like them working at homeless shelters or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, I mean, you're right. But I mean, we would have to ensure that society sees that as number one, if you're writing a check, not just writing it off so it'll go away, or number two, if they're going out and helping the community that they disrespected, that it's not just performatism. Yeah. Like, we as a society need to allow people to grow and do better, because right now that's not allowed.
Yeah.
I think, so, real quick, so Jeremy's talking about the former IGN reviewer, I think that that's actually an example of somebody being canceled and staying canceled. But for you guys who don't know, like Philip Mewson is, I think is how you say his name. That was an IGN reviewer who put out a review. He plagiarized the entire thing, like word for word, and like even some of the video for gameplay was ripped directly off someone else's video. And people were able to do a side by side and be like, hey, this is this other guy's review, and found out going through his stuff he was plagiarizing stuff for years. And so 3 years later, now he comes back, he does another video, he puts it out to review the exact same game that he got fired for plagiarizing. And people are like, what the hell are you doing? Like, everyone called him out as soon as they found out his like stuff was there. And basically, like, this dude's blackballed everywhere. He cannot get work for the same job ever again. So this is a man who like was rightfully called out, canceled, and that man has stayed canceled. He tried to come back after 3 years time, but yeah, his I think that man's gonna stay canceled.
I think
So, go ahead. Sorry.
I think like a genuine canceling, like whether it's like like people who like actually become like good, like that nature boy I was talking about, like, hey, I apologize for like being a piece, like that, being fucked up when I was younger. I now be really sorry and changing their, like, showing proof that they've changed their ways. And like people like that reviewer, where like they got busted and like they still can't get a job, are like those actions, like whether like the good or the bad, are rare where it actually sticks, and like it actually sticks. Like they're like most of it's just bullshit, and like that's why it's like not a real thing. Like it's never going. I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to be sustainable, because we're all like, at least as Americans, we're all individualists, basically. Like we've been like a culture of being individuals, and so we'll always see us as like above as a whole. I'm not saying like people specifically, but like Americans as a whole will just always see that, oh, I wouldn't do this, so all you motherfuckers who don't do it are pieces of shit. And like because we love our individualism in America. And
I agree.
So there's a conversation nobody's ready for. But how do you guys feel about that we're all individuals, but so regularly we're treated like a monolith? Like,
I think that's a separate topic.
Oh, it's 100% separate topic. It was just one of those things that he brought up because, like, he was saying that we're so individualistic, and it's very true. Like, because we can't even get people to wear masks, but it's such a thing how we regularly have these conversations where somebody says, oh, well, we can't get Americans to do this because they're so individualistic, but then there's so many ways that we're treated like a monolith, like all men are X, all women are X, all all Latinos are this way, and just like, how can we be individualists at the same time that we're also a monolith? And I hate it so much. Completely off topic, but that's a conversation we're not ready to have.
Like, it still works with the fucking cancel culture because
I mean, yeah, because if we are all true individuals, let's say three people were racist, and only two of them were canceled, or I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but cancel culture is like looking for individuals, but again, treating us all like we're a monolith and we're all expected to act a certain way. I don't know. That was just a vomit of words. Just
but you're right, because no. I think you're actually onto something, because in a lot of cancel culture, it's our way or the highway, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, we love to praise our individuality, but if you go against the grain on the internet, you're a fucking pariah. It's crazy. Like, for example, look at Darnel. this horrible, horrible man does not like Star Wars.
Fucking
Every
trash.
single stream you bring this up, whether it's relevant or not, let the man be.
Is it currently relevant?
I mean, you made it relevant. I mean, props to you. But...
I know.
Yeah.
So, but that's the idea. I'm bringing it up literally just to illustrate that the thing is that people call him, like, people have started so many arguments with him because he doesn't like Star Wars, and it's just a terrible. Like, I don't care that he doesn't like Star Wars. I just bring it up for comedic effect. But it's just such a thing that, you know, he goes against the grain, and people like hate him for it. And this is true for anything, you know, like if you have an opinion, like if you have an opinion that differs from anyone else on just something that's popular, or even just popular right now, because again, that's popular right now, because you say something that would have been unpopular in the 80s but is popular now, you know, you're great. If you say something that was popular in the 80s but not popular now, like you're a fucking monster, you know. And that's true for it's true for a lot of stances. It's true for a lot of comedy. A lot of comedians have been canceled in the past decade.
Kevin Hart, like how he had his apology for whatever stupid thing he said.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, well, you didn't apologize. And he's like, well, he did. But they didn't like the way he, like, his actual apology should have been bigger or broader. And it was like, well, he apologized. And like now you're nitpicking the way that he apologized. It wasn't like he didn't apologize. He didn't say the words, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. Like he said that. But it was like they nitpicked the way he actually did apologize. And it was like kind of like, hey.
I think Kevin Hart went about that one the right way when he was like, I'm not gonna apologize twice.
Yeah.
I think he was right.
No, I agree. Two things though. Oh, I just thought about this when you were talking. We can't be an individualistic society and also be expected to hold a full societal contract. It doesn't work. In order to uphold a societal contract, we need to think about each other and not just ourselves as individuals. Number two, the whole apologizing thing. You can't tone police an apology. Like, if it's actually genuine and someone is trying to apologize and you're just like, you know what, no, that apology wasn't good enough for me, even though they're trying to be genuine, again, disallowal of growth. And that's the toxic side of cancel culture.
I'm 100% guilty of tone police on apologies. I do that.
Well, like, you gotta don't, like, you tone police like when people don't actually apologize. It's like they give, like, there's a difference between saying I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, Sarah, versus I'm sorry that you feel like I hurt your feelings. And a lot of apologies are the latter when they get like canceled. The latter. It's like they didn't actually apologize. They just more so like it's a you problem, but I'm pretending that I care.
I agree. When you're apologizing as a way to protect yourself and not holding yourself accountable and wanting to grow, that's an acceptable call out for an apology and say, you know what, that wasn't a true apology. Right. But if someone comes out and says, you know what, I am so sorry that I did this, I will try to do better. And then someone says, well, we haven't seen you do better yet. You can't just say you're going to do better. We don't trust those words. It's, again, not allowing someone to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I got to take that back. I guess I don't 100% tone police the apology. I tone police when it's not genuine. Jeremy says, thank you, Runetown. It comes from the heart. They give a presentation in class when they apologize. He goes, difference between sorry, I really hurt you, I didn't see that from that perspective, and sorry, I do not condone those words, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's right. I think a lot of people do, like, they pass the buck when they apologize a lot. And when they do those things, you know, I tend to call it out a lot and say, hey, you know, this isn't sorry that, you know, it's not sorry that I did this and I need to change and do better. It's sorry that I got caught, or sorry that you brought it up again. And when those things happen, I tend to, those apologies fall on deaf ears when it comes to me, because it's not a real apology. And I think that, like, there's a lot of things that, I've said things in the past that I don't stand by now, and I've never, like, apologized for them. I've never been called out publicly for them, but I know that they're not okay, and I've actively made the attempts to be better. So, like, that's kind of a thing, is that, like, I think this thing needs to be an internal change and not an external change. I don't think, I'm probably never going to put out an apology video. Like, even though I've joked about doing that, I'm not going to put out an apology video for things that I've said in the past, knowing that I'm actively trying to be better. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to, like, I know that we've made our own gift for this, but do better. You know what I mean? Like, that is the core of who, of who I am. I used to be closed-minded, I used to judge people on how they live their lives, but I think that I have grown from that, and I've, if something out there still exists with me saying something that, I wouldn't approve of today, I'm not going to stand by it. I it was a different time, and if it comes out, like, I know it was a different time, and I know that, I was not an ally before, but I'm an ally now. And it's like, that's what you have to do. You have to be, like, it's not enough to say you're sorry. You have to be an ally. And I've said this before on other things, but it's not enough to, I don't think we live in a world anymore where it's enough to be tolerant. I think that you have to be an active ally.
Yeah, you can't be not racist, you have to be anti-racist. Which means, like, actively making decisions that change, like, how you do things. And, like, so, like, just using racist because racist. But, yeah, like, you have to actively, like, show, like, make changes and, like, how you talk. Like, if you made, like, gay history of making gay jokes, actively not making gay jokes, and actively, like, maybe, like, you don't necessarily have to, like, put the rainbow flag everywhere, but, like, when you see the comments, actively step in and, like, hey, that's not cool. Can you not do that?
Exactly. Jeremy says, cough, cough, James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. This cancel culture tried to get rid of him, but failed. It's comical now. There's a DC movie and a Marvel movie. I mean...
Yeah.
So... James Gunn definitely posted some stuff that was, like, very sus, but I mean, he did apologize for it, and he said that's not who I am anymore. But it's like, how much of that, like, is just part of the script these days? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that, like, I am gonna personally try to cancel James Gunn, but, like, I feel like there's a script these days for apologies.
True. Kind of like with Ella DeGeneres, how, like, everybody who came out in support of her, like, kind of said essentially the same thing. And I was like, oh, wow, like, y'all are just repeating the same fucking things. Mm-hmm. But also, none of your opinions matter because we're not talking about you rich people. We're talking about the help.
I would be really interested to see, like, apology videos and apology tweets, and somebody create like a word bubble from them. And, like,
oh yes,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And see how how many phrases pop up pretty regularly, like, it was a different time, or I don't condone, or, like, just different things like that, and see what really pops out in the script. I think it's really interesting. I think it would be really interesting to see all of that.
I would love to see the comparison between that, but I kind of want to see two different word bubbles. One that comes from a genuine apology, and then another one that comes from like all of those influencer ungenuine apologies where it's like, I'm sorry that you feel, as opposed to, you know, I'm sorry that I.
Jeremy said Hartley Sawyer was fired from The Flash, and I don't know who the Hartley Sawyer is.
Oh, Rubberman.
Who?
Plastic Man. The stretchy guy from DC. Plastic Man, detective. Like, he played that dude on there. It was like back in like, I think 2013, he made like a gay joke and like a sexist joke.
Okay. So 2013?
Yeah, I think like 2013-ish. And it's like...
Elongated man?
Yeah.
People are losing it because he's not coming back because they fired him. He's not coming back to his role. People are really upset. I don't know, but like... I look at this stuff and I say, okay, well, you know, 2013. Like, when I talk about stuff that I said, I'm talking about stuff that I said in high school. And, like, so Hartley Sawyer's older than all of us, you know, and if he said it in 2013, that's 7 years ago. He was, I think at that point, older than how old Malika is now, you know, and it's just like, would you, you know, if he said some stuff, which I don't know what he said, but if he said some stuff at Malika's age, would you judge him? And I'm like, I kind of would. If Malika said some shit that was out of pocket,
I would. Because like, I did some fucked up shit. Like, in the time that like y'all first met me, so that now they're like, y'all have full right to judge the shit out of me for this shit.
Well, I think it's. Sorry, go ahead. Go finish your thought.
No, like that was it. It was like y'all judged me like for like the shit that I did when y'all first met me versus now. Like I would fully understand. Like I've grown, but also I should have known better. I've grown, but also.
I mean, I.
So it says racist,
let's say
misogynistic tweets.
Yeah, and it was 8 years ago. So. I would probably judge as well. Our first human reaction is to say, oh, that's not cool, because that is the society that we live in right now. We immediately jump into that kind of thinking. The problem, and then Jeremy brought this up in the chat a little bit earlier, is that mob mentality, where you have a ton of people coming in and forcing this person out without allowing any sort of allowance of growth or hearing from the person. It's like, you know what? This mob said this person's out, they're out. It's like, you know what? This mob said this person's out, they're out.
I mean, I think. So it's hard. It's hard to say. Like, I haven't seen his tweets, right? But like, if they're from 2012 and 2014 and they're pretty bad, it's just like. But at the same time, I don't know. It's like if it was 8 years ago, he's 35 now. He'd be 23. The argument of him being a kid is out the window. But like, were gay jokes okay in 2012? Were they? You know what I mean?
I barely remember last week at this point. I mean, maybe they were a little more. I don't even want to use the word allowed. I don't even want to use the word allowed. I think.
Oh, it wasn't gay jokes.
Them with.
He said the F word.
Them with,
oh, it wasn't gay jokes.
Okay, then that's not okay.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
Any kind of slur like that is not okay. If you're making, I mean, take a look at Cards Against Humanity. Mm-hmm. There's some shit in there that should not be funny, and yet it's still used as humor, and it's almost like. Darnel, you had a great word for it, like 2 months ago, and I cannot remember. It was almost like it was from that iceberg thing. It was like passable racism, and I don't remember what it was. Huh?
Yep, I don't remember what it is either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeremy says Runetown and Geeky Mika are MVPs. Bring them back. They are back. This is their second time here. They're regulars.
Yeah, like since we started this thing, like they've been on it 2 out of 3.
Oh my god.
I'm dead.
I'm just reading it. I'm like, what? They are part of the regular cast.
until I get canceled.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
we does internet first, so you're safe.
We are gonna cancel Sarah at some point, based on, you know, her TikTok.
No.
Like she's gonna send us one like weird dancing thing.
I am the chaotic good of this group, and you love me for it.
Oh my god.
That's a strong word there.
Perfectly honest.
Jeremy says cancel Mikie for missing the Pokemon free downloads this weekend. Man, I have too much Pokemon in my life. I think that I'm allowed to miss some.
Yeah, thing behind you.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
Can we go on a quick tangent and just quickly tell the story of how Pokemon Go helped you this morning?
Oh, yeah, okay, just go ahead and out myself. All right, so yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. So this morning I woke up in a complete haze, and I don't know if any of you guys watching have ever done this, but just one of those mornings where you wake up and you just have no idea where you are, what time it is, what day it is, and I couldn't find my phone. And I immediately start looking around, just lost in my head, and I pick up my phone and I see the time, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be late for work. And so the first thing I do is I jump in the shower, I text my boss like, hey, I'm running late, I'm gonna be there ASAP, but you know, I wasn't feeling well, which was true because I woke up in a haze. And then so essentially what I did was I start going through and I'm getting ready, and I look at Pokemon Go because I'm like, hey, you know, it's time to get the 7-day Monday bonus. And I'm looking, I'm like, why don't I have the bonus? Why can't I get the bonus? And then I realized that the reason that I haven't picked up the bonus like eggs that I receive every Monday at 9 a.m. is because it's not Monday. And I text my boss to tell her I was running late on a day that I don't work.
And this is why you're canceled.
So I had to immediately just be like, I'm so sick, I don't even know what day it is. Jeremy says I deserve that. Quit playing Pokemon. You just told me I deserve to be canceled for not playing Pokemon. Now I need to quit playing Pokemon?
Jeremy, this is exactly what we're talking about. You're not allowing people to grow. And it came full circle, and I love it.
Oh my god, that's great. Ah, god. Alright, so cancel culture. Final thoughts. We're gonna cancel Comcast for Malika because she muted herself.
Because Xfinity, either like she needs better internet or better electronic devices, or a combination of both.
Is she saying things? She's wiping her hands across the screen.
She's talking, but I can't hear her.
I heard like one word and then she went out again.
Yep.
No, we're just taking your sign language, and then we're just interpreting what she says.
I heard my phone and then nothing else.
5 words.
This is
First
great.
word.
This is great. Like we're out here playing like we're playing with her like she's miming stuff and she's talking like, oh my god, we're just gonna put words over the screen that just says please help me. Oh my god. Darnell's not getting canceled. We just unlocked him, so he's here for a while.
I don't know. I did bring up like the fact 5 years ago. Somebody's gonna bring up like, oh, what did he do 5 years ago? And then it's like, well, it was nice knowing you, black man.
Jeremy says cancel Mikie from Pokemon and make Runetown take over the show. Sarah doesn't even play like the Pokemon game. She plays Go and barely. Who's gonna play Pokemon? He says still counts.
I am the host now.
It's like, look at me. I'm Captain now.
So from now on, your channel is just going to be me streaming my favorite TikToks.
Still the group chat, just for a wider audience.
She just starts up the stream. She starts up the stream and it's just like me pan su su su.
I'm just sitting there face down in my bed just giggling. Guys, did you see this one?
It's literally so it'll have like just on the side of the screen just a TikTok and then like just a big square that's just you being like
That's what I do all day. I'm just laying in bed sending you shit TikToks and just like this made me laugh.
Jeremy says $5 sub, let's do it.
Oh, jeez.
All right, so let's wrap up the discussion. So
thank God.
So we have people getting canceled and people don't agree with it. I think personally, I think if we could find a way to hold people accountable in a way that is acceptable, I think cancel culture could be something that works. Mikie will flex his shiny Pokemon and cancel himself for hoarding. I mean, sure. I flex my shinies all the time. I don't care. And so Malika, I'm sure, has thoughts, but we've canceled her microphone. So
you know what? This is why you need a notepad. Just write it down and hold it up to the screen.
She's like, okay, first tell us your wager. And put it in the form of a question.
Wait, are you really writing something down?
Right. My phone
Malika.
hates me. Okay. And you know what's really funny right now is I think she froze on that.
Yes. Hey, make that her new profile picture.
Exactly.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Jeremy, for hitting her with the rip. We gotta hit her with the rip. I'm dropping a bunch of Mimikyu rips on there.
Oh, jeez.
See, that's
Every
what
single time we.
Uh,
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram.
Yeah,
Please
Jeremy,
do.
that is 100% why they are there. That's why we put up the. But
all I do is shit post and post pictures of my dog, so enjoy it.
Jeremy says he's suing me to go cancel myself. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Malika's writing another note. All right.
I'm gonna freeze this time.
Darnel, you got any final thoughts?
Nah, it's just like, like what I thought of, like, I don't think we'll ever actually reach a point because we're all as a whole, a bunch of spot waffles. Where, like, it can be like we can all agree on, like, hey, this is definitely bad fucking behavior, and we should definitely, like, try to change this in this direction. And it's like, yeah, I just don't think we will ever be there because we're all just assholes with the internet.
Yeah.
It's made us better and worse.
I
And
kind
I
of
think
agree
it's
with that.
on both sides.
Malika's still writing her note. Sarah, you got some final thoughts?
I mean, I think just to echo what everybody has said. Oh my god. Hold on. She's writing. What does she say?
She wrote internet equals bad.
It took you that long to write that. Okay.
Oh man, yo, come in hard with the judgment, please.
Oh god, I'm crying again.
Jeremy said she was frozen while writing. All right.
Okay. So I'm echoing everybody else. I don't think there's a true way to cancel somebody. I think it's an unfortunate part of our culture right now, and I think we can only talk from a high level of what we would want to happen and how things should work in an ideal world. And, maybe one day we'll get there. I mean, that's at least my hope, that people will be fully held accountable, but also allow for growth if growth is allowed to happen.
Yeah, I think that personally people should be allowed to grow. I don't think that we have the right I don't think that we currently have the right medium for people to truly grow, because I don't think we can properly hold people accountable now. So I don't think that much will change in terms of cancel culture. I think that it's something that is ultimately ineffective, but has far-reaching consequences. So I think that it's a mixed bag. And I think that's something that it should be a tool, but it's currently a weapon. And I think that because of that, it's not where it should be. But those were my thoughts. I think I can interpret Malika's internet equals bad is to not just be about Comcast, but about her opinion on cancel culture. And that the internet is truly an evil place. Look, she's nodding, so I think she agrees.
Yeah.
So those were our thoughts, and I 100% thank you to anybody that joined us today. We are going to continue having conversations like this, so if you're watching now and you're new to the channel, please follow us so that you can be here when we do post more content for this. You guys don't have to sub, but we are looking at a subscriber goal right now to try to unlock new emotes for the channel so that we can have people be able to spam their emotes like that Mikie one that was just there. Malika will work on doing better. I think she's speaking both as a person and as an internet user.
Yes. I always get suggestions on things to rant about for an hour.
Yeah. Please let us know any kind of topics that you would like us to discuss, so we can continue to have more discussions online. We have a couple different discussions lined up. We do plan on releasing more designs for emotes. You can follow us online at any of the channels listed here. So on Twitter, you can find Geeky Mika and Poop on a Window for Darnel and Malika. On Twitch, you can find me under this username, Mikie Cool, but you can also find me under any other social media with the same name. And on Instagram, you can find Runetown, and you can find Nerds in the Dark on everywhere that you find social media. So again, before we do the raid, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time on Nerds in the Dark.